Hey everyone, Sketch Card Hive here with Matt Fuller, OCD Marvel Sketch Cards. How you doing, bud?
Good. I noticed right before I came on that little subtitle thing. I had to edit it somehow. Someone got a little carried away with the wording.
I like it a lot, actually. I was going to ask you, I was like, was that on purpose? Because I am down to put that out there. I don't think anybody would argue that title, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels a little narcissistic to me. That's all.
Well,
Aficionado was a great word.
you could be the greatest collector in the world, so it could get worse. So Sketch Card Aficionado is just fine.
Well, cool.
Okay, so crazy fun day.
Hi,
So
Earl.
we're on a roll. We're already here. A lot of cool stuff. Ryder, what's up, buddy? Oh, we might, Matt. I told Ryder earlier, but I just remember Nathan's in the house as well as Dre. Hey guys, might have a case of Midnight Suns to open. Not my case, but we might be able to do it on camera and hang out. So people are welcome. So that should be fun. Jayhawk, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you again. Hey, Copperpot, dude. Copperpot asked me about those binders that I've been telling people about, the where you can see the back and the front of the card, the top loader binders, and I just sent him the link. So I hope that works out for you, buddy. Hey, Big Dom, what's up, buddy? How's it going? Raj, what's up, man? And Melfi too. Thank you all for coming out, man. Everyone's here. Thank you, guys. So nice of you. So cool. So we're here. We're just going to talk a little bit about Marvel cards again, just to have another fun video. This is going to be my weekly kind of video thing. Yes, I am doing something weekly and on time and consistently. So there it is. So Matt's been nice enough to join me now, 2 episodes. So he's the best, and I really appreciate it. But we are going to talk about a couple different topics. If you can think of any in the chat that you want to kind of bring up, and we can do off the top of our head, we can do that as well. I have a couple of things to show off, which is pretty fun, that I'm excited about. Matt, hey, Sydney's here too. I'm excited, Sydney, to eventually catch up with you and Donnie. Sheen, what's up, man? What's going on? So cool to see you guys here. Thank you. So I don't know how this happened, but I was at OAX and talking to Bianchi and seeing him paint for the first time, talking about things, and got the Surfer sketch card that I shared with you guys. By the way, I took that off my post because I kind of keep things to myself until I put a watermark on them, because people have been taking things and stuff. And even this guy back here was on someone else's feed who originally had it, there's a lot of weird stuff people are doing out there. So now it's behind me, and Dan helped me frame that. So I have both pieces, which side by side, which looks really cool, which I'm really grateful for. So that's pretty awesome. Just wanted to show you. Hey, Alonzo, if you want to pop on or anything, man, let me know, okay?
Marvel Jester and Sean.
Hey. Sean, what's up, man? So I got something else. I don't usually buy commission pieces, but I was talking to Matt Totillo. You should check out his site, by the way. It's pretty amazing. I want to share it with you guys so you guys can see it, because I think it's pretty cool. And I'm going to bring it up on my screen now. It's very cool what he's doing. He's been very much a friend to me in many ways, and I really appreciate him always helping me out and being kind. So I just want to show this page here. If I can, drum roll, please. So there you go. This is the site. This is his art collective site. He has other artists coming. Right now he has 2 amazing artists, Simona Bianchi and Simona Demel, and pretty amazing art here. As you can see, he actually has original art for sale. So there's some really amazing pieces here. I mean, very cool pieces here. And I just saw who got this Batman, and I saw a piece of that being painted at the show, which was really cool to see. Black Panther, we know where that is. A lot of really cool pieces out here for sale. So you'll want to check that out. This sold out pretty quickly. This was crazy to see in person. Remember that, Matt? That was just nuts. I don't know if you saw it in the portfolio or not, but that was kind of insane. But yeah, some great pieces here. Some from his personal collection, some from his 2 artists he represents. More things are coming out. Things he previewed to me. I don't want to say too much, but yeah, they were pretty great. So, and what ended up happening was hits me up, tells me, hey, Simone got caught up drawing something. He's been working on the pencils for like 4 or 5 hours. He's really into it. And of course, it's Surfer. And I am very lucky. And yeah, so without further ado, my first commission piece, my first big size piece of Surfer. And for years, since maybe 2018, 2017, I've been working and waiting for a Silver Surfer piece from Simone that was published for a cover or something like that. It just hasn't happened yet. I'm still on that list, but I couldn't help it. So I wanted to share it with you guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll do.
That'll do. So I was pretty, I'll take it out of the Mylar. I was pretty shocked. And they sent me a video and he was talking about how he was working on it. And I don't know, it's just one of those things where I was just like, I don't know. Pretty amazing piece. I was really happy with it. Super textured. Very cool. I got a frame coming now. Dan was nice enough to help me frame it. Get the measurements and stuff because I wasn't entirely sure how that process works. I was too afraid to leave it somewhere. I know it might not be a big deal to some other people. I know it's a commission piece. I know, it's not an official published piece and all that stuff, but I don't know. Simone is definitely one of my favorites, and to have a bust, especially having the head like that and so much detail, is such a cool look. I was like, pretty awesome. So I wanted to share with you guys, let you guys know the website too before we get into anything else, just to kind of spread the word and let you guys know what's been going on with me on that front. You got any cool mail day stuff, Matt?
No mail day. We've threatened to do a tour of the room, so we might do that a little later. But
we worked out a camera. It's going to be awesome. So I hope you guys are ready for the tour. I think it should be a separate video. I think it should be kind of hinting towards MTV Cribs, but that's just me putting that out there. And
maybe we'll give a limited snippet tour.
We'll give a quick little corner, just one corner of the amazing.
Maybe we'll just do a close up of maybe these ones that are over there. We'll figure out.
I'm awesome. Okay, this is awesome. So really cool. Anyway, very cool thing to see. I'm so excited about it. But also wanted to talk about Naked Silver Guy. Laugh a lot. Congrats. I'm so happy for you. Thank you, William. He's my Naked Silver Guy, so I'm pretty happy about it. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Hey, what's up, man? Thank you.
Nice.
He did it. Who cares if it isn't published pieces original from Amazing Art? It is. I don't know. It's a weird thing when you are on a budget, and this kind of segues nicely into what we talked about last episode. For me, I always make sure, and I've told Bianchi this a couple of times on videos, that I have like a little fund of money for things that he does, for a piece that pops up for Surfer one day, so I can afford it. And I think when you're someone who has to kind of like manage those budget expectations, you tend to try not to pull the trigger on things that are not time sensitive. And I tend to do that a lot with my collection. I pull the trigger on Surfer stuff regularly, especially if it's something I need, and I tend to overpay, which is fine. But that's because that's the core of the card collection kind of thing. The art thing has been something I've fallen into. I've gotten lucky. I traded into this for a very good friend who got it off someone who's a prick. And so luckily it came back to me, which is lovely.
What was that?
Who was a prick. The guy who traded it to me, though, was awesome. But the guy who originally had it, prick. And so I'm pretty happy to have that back here, which I'm very grateful for. I also did pick this up from Dan, who was nice enough to gift this to me.
Oh, nice.
So I got the prelim to that, which is pretty awesome. So very cool to have the pencils.
Prelim, or is that the pencil prelim? So
this is the way it works, is that these pieces are put onto the canvas, and this is acting as like a transfer. Yeah. So this is acting like a transfer. So here was a transfer as well, but actually there's a prelim before this one, which was the character study, which I have here that I can show you guys if you're interested. I don't want to make this like a, well, I guess it's my vlog. It can be a Surfer thing. We're okay with that, right? It's time for that. People are knowing what they're tuning in for here. And taking a little while to get there.
And then while you're doing that, so now, do you know if the Surfer, the art for the published preliminary art card, which some people insist on calling a post-lim or whatever you want to call it, the art that's on the card, is that one of the ones that's available from Redemption?
No, because they don't have one. Because the holofoils didn't. Some of the holofoils are not on the card. Yeah, so that's not on the card. But this is the original.
Oh, the four.
Yeah, this way. This is the before over here, which you can't see my finger. But the before was this because Joe was supposed to do the omnibus for Surfer, and something fell through time, whatever, and he wasn't able to do it. But he did mock up a prelim, and that was before this guy. So Joe had promised me this 6 months before he sold him in the group. Primarily because I asked him to put the prelims in the group for a little while. So I'd asked him if he could, hold the Surfer for me, and I get it when he's ready to sell. And eventually he did put him in the group for people to buy at a reasonable price because someone bought up all the art. So this is the closest that a lot of people can get. And somebody went in there and bought all of them, and then immediately, like 48 hours later, put them on eBay for 5-10 times their amount, which was a lot of fun in the hobby. Matt remembers this. But so Joe gifted me that, which was very kind of him, but eventually I was able to come to this. But yeah, so for Dan, that is the tracing paper. So it's brittle, pencil kind of stuff that's put on the board. So yeah, which is pretty cool.
I actually do have something production-wise from Dan. Should I?
If you want to, you do not have to share anything. This is kind of like what it's going to be a vlog.
If I don't do it now while I'm thinking of it, I will forget.
Always a good time. That always has something there. So while he gets that, again, we're going to be talking about budgets. We can talk about art stuff too. So if anybody wants to see any of that stuff, let me know. It's the House of Norn. I love it. Thumbnails. Yeah. Thank you, Sydney. Joe rocks. Yeah, Joe's great. What's up, guys? Hey, Bob. What's up, man? Now one think of the children.
So, one thing Dan did give me, which is the roughed out for the triptych.
Wow, those are the thumbnails. So all the different ideas. Wow.
Yeah, so those were quite cool. And those obviously are those pieces right there.
Wow, those look great.
Yeah, no, it's another cool piece of the process,
I'm hoping, Dan, there was an idea to cut some of those up and to sell them as individual cards on the Patreon. I don't know if he has the time to do that, but hopefully it comes up because that was a cool idea him and I talked about, and a fun thing for collectors to kind of grab a piece of the history of the set for a very nice, price. Hopefully that still happens, so everyone gets to enjoy that piece of it. Yeah, so that should be really cool. But that's my Surfer piece from Dan that I have. I only got the one Surfer piece, so I picked the holofoil one, and that was partial payment for helping Dan out and advising on all that other stuff, and just being there since I live so close. So budget, I thought we were going to talk about
parakeet jokes.
I can tell it's good stuff. Yeah, so we're going to talk budgets. We're going to talk about how to do this. I recently have taken on a lever. No, I have recently started rainbowing Fleer Ultra Midnight Suns Werewolf by Night. So I have the gold, which I'll show you in a second. I have the gold, the base, the green, the blue, a couple of the cards, thanks to William and thanks to a nice collector who sold me the gold, who I don't know if he wants me to mention him, but he's super lovely. And then I recently just got the auto for $50. Now there's an auto on eBay right now for 300 and something best offer overseas. And one was selling for 200 or something like that. I know the auto's not going to be that expensive because the character is not high on the tier list. So I waited for the price to come down. And it's something to kind of just point out to everybody here that when you're thinking about rainbowing, when you're thinking about budgeting, when you're thinking about doing this kind of stuff, I think there are three helpful things. I'm going to name one. Matt's going to make one up on the cuff, and then I'll make up the next one. There's no fast rule here, folks. The first one I would say is know where your character is based on the value that the masses place on it. Right? If you go for a Venom, stiffer competition, a lot harder to go for. If you're going for Werewolf by Night, then you know there's other characters on the set list that are going to be more desirable than that particular character. And that will help you realize your actual competition for cards you see on eBay. A lot of times when you see something on eBay, you're like, I'm never going to find this again. The set just came out. This looks like it's really good condition, even though I can't tell because the photos are foggy. I'm just going to buy it and be done with it. Sometimes that works. Sometimes that doesn't. And I think one of the big things to take into consideration there is where your character is on the perceived value tier list of other characters for the set. So that's one of mine. Matt, what's one of yours?
Start with the 101. If you decide the rarity you're going to go after and figure out if you can get it, because if you start with the easy ones and it becomes known you're after it, and then you're going for the 101 or whatever the highest number you want is, it's tough. Honestly, and that sort of sounds weird, but the two big rainbows I've done are because I either got the 101 or the 105 to start it. Now that I'm doing with the Danny, the character sort of, I wouldn't even call it a rainbow, just the everything approach, chasing after those one of ones after the fact is just very unreasonable. Let's just put it that way.
It's very miserable.
I decided those will be nice to haves, not must haves, because
and I think you have to have that kind of realization with yourself, especially one of ones. And I would also think that plates and sketches and production stuff or paintings are a good substitute for a card that's a parallel that has a different color but the same art. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's wrong with one-on-ones at all. But I think you have to reason with yourself sometimes to understand that sometimes things never get pulled. Sometimes they're lost. Sometimes there's used scandals behind them. I think you have to kind of temper expectations sometimes, especially when you're hunting anything below, I would say 10 or even 5, depending on the set. Yeah. So good advice. William, relax, don't rush, don't go into FOMO. Perfect. I've skipped out on a couple of likings for a good shot of an example, but I got a Death Rider auto for $40. Killer. I skipped on 3 autos that were $100 each. Yes, the same thing happened to me with Werewolf by Night. Have money set aside when it pops up. You can get it right away. And Rainbow would be sketch parallels. Perfect. I agree.
Yeah. Don't spend all your free money all the time as soon as you get it.
Yeah, and that's a big one too, right? Especially when you're going for a rainbow and you're looking for these kind of bigger cards, or when you start character hunting at this level with different sets and stuff. Yeah, I would definitely take some real time with that checklist. Yeah, yes, Candel episode.
That's what we're doing Saturday, right?
That's it. Perfect. Collect within your means. Don't go into debt. Yep, perfect. Yeah, they're not everything. And I think
nice to haves, not must haves. Yep, absolutely.
Nice to haves, not must haves. I think that's an awesome thing, a little mantra for yourself to repeat to yourself. I've been in that situation multiple times. And as a character collector, if I can be honest, I think one of the fears we have as character collectors, and I can only speak for myself, but I imagine other people are thinking this, and I'd be interested to see if Matt kind of goes through this thinking of it as well. You think to yourselves like, I have a great collection, but I don't have the Red Spectrum, or I don't have X art piece, or I don't have this, and you think that totality is more important than quality. And I don't think that's necessarily true, especially after being in the game a long time and seeing like a lot of different collections. And I wonder if you agree with me, Matt. There are collections I've seen, Swami, where like they don't have one of ones, low end parallels, nothing like that. And the collection is more bonkers than anything I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Like I've been in a lot of situations like that where it really isn't the serial numbers on the card that's making the collection.
Yeah. I mean, and also I mean, mine's a little different because, again, my character is sort of limited. So, in theory, I could hit the point where there's nothing for me to chase at a point, and that just doesn't seem fun. Like, it's nice. I actually like knowing there's stuff out there that maybe it'll pop up one day in 10 years. Like we were just talking, I just randomly before the show was flipping over and something I really wanted just came out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, great. You know, sometimes that's the fun, knowing there's still a hunt out there. Be no fun if it was just over. Then I'd have to collect something like Spot, right?
When you're at the end of your rope, you're like, Spot seems like a good idea. Why not? That's amazing. I was about to say something that Letty would have been pissed. I was like, well, I saw Letty collecting. I was like, I'll just do it better and just collect all of Spot, which is not true. Letty has an amazing Spot collection. But it's true.
Bob's got a good approach. 25 is sort of the lowest he'll go.
I think you're 1,000% right, Bob. 25 is really fair. Even a Spider-Man out of 25, which is probably the most desirable character based on popularity reason, whatever. Let's say he is, or Venom, or Wolverine, whatever. I would say Spidey is one of them. That Spidey out of 25, you're realistically going to see maybe 20 copies of that card over a 2-year period, maybe 2.5, depending on the set. That's pretty good. I don't think there's 20 hardcore Spider-Man collectors. You know what I mean? You probably have like 3 or 4 set collectors, 7 character collectors, 3 hardcore character collectors, and 2 or 3 people who just want the card. You know what I mean? Like there's a few ways you can mess with the numbers to kind of understand a little bit on how fast can something disappear. And I think out of 25 is a really good number.
There it is. It's the journey.
I agree.
What do we think of the Marvel Disney 100s?
So the pictures of all those Disney Marvel 100 cards, they look very similar to the first 100 cards, and they're all chromed out, and they have MCU characters on them. I believe that's correct. That I've seen a few of them. I think they look cool. I mean, whatever people are into collecting, I think if there was a surfer there, I'd rainbow it. I don't. Disclaimer: I am not the type of person to. How can I say this? I'm not a rip until I hit it kind of guy. I can't do that. Like it's just I rather hunt for something down than discover it through a pack. I mean, I would love that. You know what I mean? If I had the money, sure, I'd take the chance. But
did you see Neo's Instagram post earlier today?
No, what happened?
It was a video of this. It was almost like a factory. It's a bunch of guys mass breaking Topps cases while they're all streaming it. Must have been like 100 cases. And somebody made a great comment that it looked like Veruca Salt's father and Willy Wonka trying to find the golden ticket. And that's sometimes what it feels like when you're breaking Marvel product,
Well, it's crazy because I actually did see that. I had it on mute because I was doing something with Emily. We were like cooking or whatever. So I briefly saw it and I was like, this is insane. But I just imagine everybody would have to not be wearing clothes so no one can sneak anything out of the like Dominican Coke factory or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like it was really hardcore kind of stuff. And I was laughing at it. I was like, this is just an insanity upon an insanity.
It looked fun.
It did look crazy. But it looked fun. Yeah, a lot of times your character will and come around for sure. Just relax, don't go into debt. It really is a patience thing for sure. I think Sydney said something interesting up here. Oops. I do regret not going harder after the 22 Red Spectrum Wolverine. Talking about regret real quick before we kind of jump to someone else's comments. I think this is kind of an interesting little thing in terms of budget, right, Matt? Yeah. So I bought. And I haven't posted it yet because I'm getting very wary about posting things that I kind of just want to enjoy with me for a while. And I didn't want to post this also because this happened before or after I even knew about that AF-15 cut selling for the amount that Justin put in the video, which I don't remember now, but it was high. So I didn't post my comic clipping, but I got a Silver Surfer booklet out of 5. And it was the first one I saw pop up, and the Wonka comic was mine. I love it. And I ran for this thing really hard. I didn't pass go, didn't collect 200, paid up, and just got it, and it was done. You know what I mean? And I was super happy for that because in some way I knew what eventually would happen was I would see someone have one. You know what I mean? Or I see someone who would get it, and there was not going to be a way to get it from them, either paying or trading or whatever. They want to keep it for a while, or they collect surf or something like that. And I do not regret doing that at all. You know what I mean? So I do think there is a kind of foresight with certain cards where you're like, okay, I'm gonna overpay for this, and I'm gonna swallow and swallow my sadness for this, for paying so much, and it's just gonna be done.
Yeah, but I mean, the other thing, I would look at the regret a different way. You didn't go. There was a reason you didn't go after it at the time, and it just wasn't meant to be. And who knows? It could come back around again, and maybe it'll be the right time then. But
I agree 100%. And for me, a lot of things had lined up with this particular card, not because of its number or difficulty to find. Because I don't think this is a card I'll not never find. This was more like, this is the one that I wanted for me. It had all the right cuts. You see what I mean? So like there was something to the card that was very different, and I didn't want to not see that piece again. You see what I mean? So there's a little bit of something there.
Hint right there.
Yeah. So a little bit of something there. Let's see who else we got.
That's an interesting one.
Ooh.
Get back into that scandal idea, right?
A scandal idea. Yeah.
I've been baited for sure.
Hardcore.
Once or twice, though, actually, more times than not, people send me info on deals. So like, hey, somebody's got this for trade, or this is a good price. But yeah, there were one or two where, they knew I was collecting it. They asked for the old character collecting tax premium. But you know what? It was a card I wanted, so I was fine to do it. It was never anything so over the top that I'm like, this is highway robbery. You know what I mean?
I think most people will get burned. And I've always worried about it. I have people coming up to me a lot, and they always ask me, like, I was just having this talk with Sabretooth, actually. And they were like, is it smart to advertise that I want to hunt this card down, or I want to do this? Is this something that I should even say out loud, or just keep to myself? Because a lot of people do want to keep this stuff secret for the very, very reason that we're talking about here. But for me, I've gotten so much of my collection from friends that I've made who were kind enough to either sell me a card that they found, or put me in the right direction, or connect me to the right people. Like, I've made friendships over getting cards that I was looking for publicly. I will say this. The times that it has happened where someone was like, well, I want that card from you. Or you could see it went up on eBay. They purchased it. 24 hours later, they're like, hey man, that card you got? I found this. A buddy of mine has it. Right? That kind of talk. That never works. Ever. No matter the card, because I don't know if Matt's one of those people, but I am very petty. Like, if someone does that, I'm just like, that card's dead to me. Good luck. Like, that's exactly just what happens to me. I'm just like, nah, I never need it. I'm good. And
it always shocks me when people offer you a card that you can easily do a quick eBay search and see they bought it recently. It's like,
or Mercari, because they think they're slick or something like that.
$300 in trade value.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
I don't think it ever works. I think people try it. I think people do it. I think also there's some really horrific people out there who are buying characters that other people like, so they just can't have them. There's some sick pricks out there. Yeah, it never works. Yeah, Scando understands.
I mean, we've talked about that before. That's when people have what we call FU money, right?
Yeah. That FU money kind of thing that's real in the hobby, by the way. And I'm sure people have surfers in their collection for the FU money Fausto pile. F you back, keep it. I don't care. Like, I think the funny part comes is that when you're that petty and you're spending that much time doing that kind of stuff, that's just a more of a moment for you to kind of look at yourself and realize, is my time really worth doing all this mess? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's very rare. It's like lightning. You know what I mean? I don't know if it happens all the time. I don't think it happens that often either.
I mean, but that's why you have to have that sort of view of, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be, right?
Yeah.
If someone does that and you let that bother you, then that person, quote unquote, wins.
For sure.
Say, okay, I mean, if that's what they want to do, then it's not meant to be. And that's okay. There's other cards to chase. There's always something else, especially with sketches and original art. plenty of other options.
Plenty of other options. And I think that's and of course it's going to hurt you and bother you. And you know, it would bother me. It would bother anybody. And it has. But man, when those kind of things happen to me, I put the collection away for a couple of days. I come back to it and I open it again, kind of like I forgot about it, look at it. And I'm just like, man, yeah, I'm just like, this feels all new to me. And this is kind of hokey, but man, for something to find you that's numbered or like one of one or a sketch or something, like that is a pretty crazy little adventure for that object. You know what I mean? Are you being attacked, Matt? You're being attacked.
It's just a tiny little bug down here.
Don't fall for it. You're going to throw something at a piece of art. He killed it.
I can't find him. He blends into the floor. Oh my
It's
God.
an artifact of the den.
I'm not even going to show people what I just used to hit the bug.
You did not use a sketch card. Please tell me you didn't use a sketch card.
Anyways, moving on.
Oh my God. Anyway, I can't believe you. I can't. Just put him in top loaders, Matt. Why?
Would be some top sketch artists you looked at. Answer this question. Let's do a quick sideways.
Let's do this, Matt. This is all you.
I mean, on official talk, and this actually will tie into the conversation we're going to have on Saturday.
Yeah.
If you truly want an official one on the stock that was released at the time, official pack inserted, then it's got to be the big names who were super rare, like Sienkiewicz, who only had, I think, 97, but will have a couple sketch cards in platinum. Arthur Adams only did 10 way back on the original set, so there's that. And again, that'll be something we talk about Saturday, because those are artists who people can potentially use other blank stocks, and a lot of people do, to get cards from them, more aftermarkets, but they're still an official stock. Tune in Saturday night. We'll talk all about that.
That's going to be pretty fun.
The big comic book names who have done very rare numbers of cards. Scotty Young is another one. So
that's a good one. Chris, is it Bacalo? Is that how you say it?
Yep. Bacalo.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. People have been doing that stuff for a long time. I mean, this will be part of a bigger discussion, so I don't want to pull Matt's info and you guys to get a spoil, but that Saturday episode is going to be really phenomenal, because you'll get to hear from Matt, has a lot of experience in this and understands quite a bit of this information, more than I ever can. Still looking for my periodic cable out of 5. Oh man, still? Wow, this is funny. So I remember having that conversation with you back in the day, man. Wow. Remember there was the Angel Gold. Yeah.
Or is it even 3?
3 is Angel. Or 2 is Angel?
Oh, no, how many years has it been? That's what, 21 or 22? Yeah, it's
21.
Been a couple of years now.
It has been. Periodics were great, man. Those were awesome. I never flirted with a set of like a hard numbered set in my life, but I was definitely there. I had like 15, and I even thought about putting big money behind the Angel before Cherry and all these other people got it, but
the NFT communities, yeah. I don't know. All I remember about the NFT communities is that stupid gorillas thing.
Yeah. No, the NFT stuff's unfortunate. You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about this, and I forgot who I was talking to. Maybe it was Free or somebody. And this is a good conversation for you, Matt. And by the way, how people collect and do this stuff, I don't care. You do whatever you want. You get a surfer, just see if I want it first. That's all I'm asking. No, seriously, you do whatever you want. No one gives a shit. Well, people give a shit, but you shouldn't care what other people think. But I will say this. It is interesting to see at OAX, and I don't know. I know you were stuck at the table and you had to do a lot of stuff there, Matt. I know you were busy, but it was very interesting to see the vibe of people and who was there to like collect for the history of it and not sell. You know what I mean? Who was there to kind of like build up a collection, curate a collection? Like it was definitely a very different vibe. Like, I don't know if I got resellers and there were people there who were trying to like scam with sketches and like, you know, wait the first one in line at cons, get the item and then put it on eBay like 30 minutes later. You know what I mean? So there was some of that, but I think, I don't know, Matt, like it's weird when the community for cards had become kind of like more about I got this for a deal. This was the amount of money I paid. This is out of this number. This is super rare. I'm the only one who has this. My collection is the greatest in the world. I think that kind of distracts from what hobbyists were doing. And I wanted to ask you, Matt, you've been around for a little while with non-sports sets, like things that were kind of like off the beaten path. Like I just started watching Farscape. I'm about to finish season 1. Holy shit, one of the best everything I've ever seen in my life. I never thought I would be like this much in love with a television show. It's so well written. It's bizarre, batshit, but it's awesome. And I love it. Don't spoil anything. But you had the binder, you had the full set, you had full autographs, you had sketches. Like it was really nice and contained, rare. Hard to get certain autographs, things like that became rare because they didn't put so many in the packs or some got missing, blah, 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 blah. But they were curating a collection. That's kind of what like set builders were doing. Like for yourself, because you've done a lot of non-sports, which is the thing that's more comparable to Marvel than sports. That's a very different mentality, right, Matt?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and there were a ton of those sets back at the time. You know, there were the Star Wars sets. I mean, basically all of the non-Marvel stuff that Rittenhouse and or Inkworks did back then. There was some really great stuff. And yeah, it was because they were so niche, it was very different. It was much easier to go for, you know, full auto set, all the base cards. The sketches were a little more limited, but they also weren't super expensive. So you could get those, the Farscape ones, there were all the Xena ones, Stargate. I mean, there were just so many of them back then. And so, yeah, that was a wild time. Yeah,
it seems like a wild time. I mean, I never got into a show. I was always doing Surfer, but I never, you know, I looked at the Twilight Zone. I looked at Star Trek a little bit, Star Wars stuff I've been into too. But I never got into the niche of the show and did the card series. I would love to because a lot of great shows have old card sets, and it's really cool to go back and to have like a little. I remember Ian Taylor and I talking about this on a podcast once, where we kind of have like this little time capsule thing, right? Of a show we really loved. You buy all the cards. You know, he did that for a few sets, and I thought it was such a cool idea. I haven't really done it. But I don't know. There's something very pure about that because you didn't have certain thinkings about certain characters and sketches and sketch artists. You know what I mean? There was less moves being made in your mind by why.
It wasn't as mass collected is the other thing. It really
that's
was just a bunch of people who really loved the IP, collecting it for the love, not for any sort of financial upside.
I love that fandom. I love that idea because that's kind of what I've been doing for Surfer for so long. And it's weird because you and I have talked about this because, you know, I have a nice size collection now, and other people are getting, you know, surfers too. Like Rohan's getting Surfer and stuff like that. And Jordan has been for a while. And there's just a cool fandom there, but it is going to grow, right? I can imagine what other people are experiencing. Like if someone really just loves Venom, like when William talks about the Ghost Rider series, he just loves those characters. You know what I mean? But then you have everyone who's also coming at it in different ways.
Yeah. I mean,
really interesting.
There's money to be made. So we've got everyone who came over from sports and all the PMG stuff and the flipping. You know, there's still a big part of Marvel of people who are looking at it as speculative. And it's always going to be there, which is fine. But to the point is that those niche sets were, I don't want to say pure because I don't want to somehow say that the presence of money somehow makes something unpure. It certainly doesn't.
Yeah.
Like you need that part of the you need that part of the hobby to make it work. But yeah, those were much closer knit communities, I think is the way I would say it.
Also, too, I think the way to circumvent it for people who are wanting to do that is just to remember you don't have to have everything. And I think budget really helps, right? Because if you're in the hole for something, and I've seen this happen to a lot of people, and I'm trying to bring it back to budget because it's all part of that conversation. I'm trying to get to a point is that I think the time you get upset about how much money you spend on something or the collection you build or something of that nature becomes when you put so much money into something and then it goes down in value or perceived, you know what I mean? Or there just ends up being a lot or people are not as interested as you thought. I think that's when you get those negative emotions and you become kind of less emotionally linked to the collection you're creating. And I feel like that's a big part of it that I've seen. So another good reason for staying in your budget, which is rule 3, which Matt skipped. Gosh, Matt. And is that if you love your collection, right? Ian and I talked about that. And I think that's a great thing for everybody to talk about. Just remember that being on a budget could guarantee that that love won't go away for that collection. It can't be tainted, I should say.
And you just reminded me, I think this is a good point for that discussion Saturday, that budget does play into this whole blank sketch card thing and
Yes.
it's popular, right? Some people don't have the means of some collectors to spend $2,000-$3,000 left, right on some of these high-end cards, and that this may be the only way someone can get a card they love. So that's certainly a big part of the process and what's driving it. So
also too, like the way you curate your collection. Yeah, no, you guys really, we're gonna plug this a couple of times because it's gonna be a great episode on Matt's channel for the Saturday thing. I will say this too, though, that like, and Matt knows this more than I do, but I've seen a lot of collections where people collect one artist, or they collect every artist from a set for all sketch cards, or they have 3 examples of every artist in their binder, or 9-page examples. I've seen a lot of different examples of those sets. You ain't going to find that card by Arthur Adams. It ain't going to happen.
Nope.
Unless there's a miracle, it ain't going to happen.
The only way you're ever going to find it is if there's an estate sale.
And if you're a fan of that character who's created by Arthur Adams, and you're like, you know what? I collect cards. I want a sketch card done by him. I have an Esad Ribic sketch of Surfer done on a Marvel Masterpiece, not artist proof because I couldn't find one. Regular card. He obviously wasn't on the set. It's dated, all that kind of stuff. And the truth is, it's not going to be sold, so who cares anyway, regardless of any of that stuff. But that's part of my curation of my collection. I have a sketch by someone who drew a very fantastic series on the Surfer. For me, that is a benchmark for my collection. And the budget wise, or just impossibility of it ever happening type of thing, I think that's important.
Yeah, I think Partner sums it up nicely. Sincere is a good word for it.
I like sincere. I like that a lot.
Thank you. Variants of every card. It was just, these are the cards, you're getting it because you love the show and you're like, oh, I remember that scene. And
Yes.
Yeah, which is what got me into Marvel, into appreciating Marvel. After the first reason I got in, which is because I want to trade bait. Then all of a sudden it started, I'd see some scenes. I'm like, oh, I remember that run of X-Men, or I remember this. And that's something that I do worry can be lost with a lot of these sets, where it's just, hey, get all 22 variants of this card. It's like, then it becomes about the chase and about the artificial numbering more than the feeling behind it.
And you don't look at the art anymore after the chase. I had that very real experience. MM16 was a miserable experience for me when it came with Surfer. No, it was dog shit. It was awful.
It's only tier 4, right?
Yeah, it was awful. It was worse that it wasn't that he was only a tier 4. It was just a horrible experience all the way through. Joe was lovely. Had nothing to do with Joe. Or even some collectors. Some collectors were awesome. And I have pieces that I really love and cherish, and fun stories of how I found things, and the hunt was more important than the final objective. But yeah, that set really put a bad taste in my mouth for Marvel cards, in terms of not having Marvel cards, the sense of the community, like people in it. But there was a really real turning moment for me where I was like, you know what? If I let these people who are not thinking about this the way I'm thinking about it, right or wrong, it doesn't matter, kind of take away what I get out of this, I'm not really doing this for, you know what I mean? It's not really relaxing. Hobby's supposed to be a relaxing kind of thing.
It's about the process. Or if we really want to get super corny, there you go.
What? Oh my God, I love this. Who did this first? I remember someone put this out there as the funniest thing. It probably was you. No, as corny as it is actually true.
I mean, that's what OAX showed, right? I mean, the show was great, but it was the hangout, the
It
break,
was the hanging out.
the out by the back of the pool.
No, it was amazing. That was really it.
Yeah,
That was really it. Yeah. That was really what it was for me.
I look forward to when this becomes relaxing. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it becomes relaxing when you like detox from eBay for 3 days after you convince yourself you didn't lose anything and just enjoy your cards a little bit.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm so
The
sorry.
Agents of Shield are great, but yeah, Wolverine miserable. Yep.
I'm sorry, man. It's awful. It's really awful. And Sydney's like like has an amazing Wolverine collection, and not like a superficial one. Like Sydney has a legit Wolverine collection, and knows the character very well. And I've had great talks with him. And I don't know. It's crazy to see certain things at OAX and realize that so much of this stuff is bought by people with insane budgets and insane access. And I will say that was really eye opening for me because even though I helped Dan with MM, there's certain things you can't argue, there's certain things you can't make sense of, and there's certain things you can't do and say, and they just, it becomes its own thing. But I would see pieces at the OAX that were iconic, legendary. And the type of people who were buying them were very eccentric, um, very on top of their toes, knew what they were doing with money, and they were able to spend it and buy it. Um, it was a crazy eye-opening experience to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny when you sort of see the different tiers there are in sort of collectors. Like, I'm probably in the top 20% on like the sketch card game, but then when you look at how that compares to these guys who will drop on one piece of OA what I spent in 2 years on sketch cards, like it's just a whole different level, and you just sort of like wow. And what I got out of it was not that I wanted to play in their lane, but I'm glad I'm in my lane because oh my
I don't
god,
want to compete.
yeah,
Like honestly, I really don't want to. I don't want to do it. Like, because at that point, I think that's the other thing, right?
yes,
I think that's the other thing to think about is that word competing. Um, it's strange how dark it is because like when you make something serial numbered, you're forced to compete, right? It's weird. It's weird to think of it that way, but you kind of are. When something becomes limited, it is a competition, and it is a kind of like, oh, I'm looking at this. I got to grab this. I'm reasoning this because otherwise someone else is going to pick it up. And I think a lot of times for me, I've had to kind of like get my head on straight to not because I can't, there are certain things I don't want to spend money on. I shouldn't say can't. Things I don't want to spend money on. And I have to reason myself, be like, I don't know why I'm considering this when this is not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird how competition can overshadow the joy of something.
yeah. I mean, it's again, we always look back at our youth with rose-colored glasses, but when you look back to the '90s sets, there were no real, there were no variants, right? All the cards were mass produced, so if you had two Wolverines and someone wanted one, you weren't going to be like, "Well, Wolverine's worth four of these cards." You're like, "No, okay, give me that Scorpion for it, sure." Right?
Yeah.
Because it was cooperative versus competitive, I think.
Yeah. I think that's been the fun part about the hobby too, is when people are like, all right, you're going for this character? Let's trade and switch. Like William and I did that. We had fun doing that stuff. I feel like a lot of it happens for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Going back, like your comment about walking away, then going back. I
I
did
do
that
that
all
so
the time.
much.
Going through all this sales stuff, like I've got to go through this thing of cards, and every time I relook at them, I'm like, oh wow, I forgot where I really like that one. And sometimes seeing them in your hand changes the perspective versus seeing a scan on the computer. So yeah,
It really does. There's very much a tactile kind of element to it for sure. Yeah.
some some comments I have to go back and think what people were talking about, and then there's Perna, who I don't even I just
Perna
assume
doesn't have a
all these are
connection.
out of left field.
No, that's the best thing about Perna.
Um, yeah,
1000%.
yeah,
I wish they would do that. I don't. I think it's funny that I don't care how much thing. Like I'd rather things not be expensive at all.
yeah. We'll have Scandal host the Scandal episode. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. That post by Steve. I don't know if you saw it, Norin.
No, I haven't.
He posted about 12 Bianchis he's willing to sell just because he needs to make room for new ones.
People are very different. Yeah. My room.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a poster. And that's it. You know what I mean? And that's I'm very proud of those 3 things I have on my wall. I am very proud of that. I'm hysterical. And I think that's the key to all this stuff. The grass is always going to be greener on the other side. You don't know what people had to do to make their money and the struggles they had to go through. So you can never compare yourself to others. I think the best bet is to always just be happy with what you get, and you're going to win. I think the patience will always make sure one day or another that you're eventually going to win.
Yep.
And that's how it works.
The Bianchis aren't red and signed by any chance? The ones Steven put up were they all 2018, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it.
There were a bunch from 20. I think they were from 2018. I don't recall the characters. Interesting. Yep. They want to get clout within the collecting world. That's interesting. Yep.
I've seen people do that. That's been pretty interesting to see. I've seen people pull that, and a lot of times it's pretty weird because I've seen people do that and have success with it, which is really scary. Where someone will, God, we've seen it, Matt, right? I don't know who it was, or this was a long time ago, but someone was like, "No, I'm interested in that. I'll buy it." And it's just numbers. Like, it didn't matter what they got. They were just, and they liked it, and stuff like that. But when people know, and this is the funny part, and I will say this on camera, which I know I'm going to get shit for, but that's okay. I mean, this is my channel. I will say this. It's pretty funny that everyone gets upset at people spending a lot of money on things, but the moment they hit that Spider-Man or they hit something that person wants, knock on the door immediately like, "Hey, did you want this by any chance? I need a small fortune. Do you mind?"
Right.
I think that's always been really funny to me to watch happen, because as dark as it is to say, sometimes money, I don't know. I don't think money doesn't buy you everything, because a curation of a collection takes some knowledge and research of a character and the thing you're doing. And that's why I have this channel on here, to kind of like talk to other people who are, thinking about this in that way. But it does open a few doors for you. I should say that, obviously.
It helps. It definitely
helps. I'm sure it helps. Yeah.
Yeah, Red Skull was one of those for sure.
I like Bianchi's Red Skull. That's a nice piece.
There's a variance of some characters. One of the card bloody. Yeah, Disney is strict.
Well, that's what happened with the Wolverine. The Wolverine originally had the costume torn, the arrows on the back of MM22, and then he had to digitally edit those off, which is crazy.
Yeah, we need a Disney After Dark series or something. Yeah, just have fun. Absolutely. We sort of got off track with what we were going to talk about, didn't we?
Of course we did. That's going to be my channel.
Way over there.
No, it's always going to happen. I like that. I prefer, I don't know. Those are the conversations I like, because I that's why I like doing this live. I mean, yes, people could post weird comments and stuff like that, I'm sure, but I don't care. I'd rather have something organic. I'm not very good with planning things at all. So, I mean, we're talking about budget, though. I think that was a big part of it. You were talking about like the anti-hype episode for cards and stuff. And I think that's a really important conversation to have right now, because Marvel Avengers Metal is coming out. Other sets.
Masterpieces in the pack could drop any day. We just don't know.
I mean, there's so much happening right now with so many different inserts, parallels, price points, things that I'm sure are going to be shocking.
What was Avengers? $350?
I shouldn't make that face, but yeah, it's too late now. But yeah, I mean, I've overpaid on things. I don't know why I'm making the face, but it's Surfer's not in the Avengers, not really, technically.
I mean, it's simple. If you can afford to break some boxes, if it's fun,
Yeah.
you want to do it by all means. But if you're only going to collect certain characters or only looking for a few inserts, take the long approach.
Come over here. Come hang out with us. We're hunting. You will be. We'll stay up past 2 or 3 in the morning and look on eBay together. we'll make a little community that way. Don't worry about it.
I mean, Scandal sort of hit it right. I mean, the problem is it's like the prisoner's dilemma. Even if we get 100 people to do that, there's 100 who'll buy it. So, I mean,
and that's why
theory, but we all know someone's gonna. The demand will be filled.
This was also something that we proposed for Masterpieces. I remember that conversation happening. We have to be careful with the price and blah, blah, blah as a community and all this kind of stuff. I think the smarter solution, because it's very hard to convince people who have people think differently about prices because people come from different financial backgrounds. So it's difficult to say 175 is the price. No one should disagree with that. That should be the price we make it. Because someone proposing that is not in the budget that other people are in budgets. So it's kind of it's a difficult soapbox to stand on. I think the better thing is if it's too high for you, you don't buy it. And you hunt singles and you wait for COMC when it gets on EPAC and you wait for the inevitable drop instead, which I think is nice. Like that kind of happened with Midnight Suns. Like for me, at least, I saw some cards in Midnight Suns and I was like, this is craziness that I've seen some of the prices for, like comic cuts and stuff like that. And I was like, this is kind of not what I want to spend on chasing this character that I'm excited about. So I just waited.
And then for Perna, speaking of drops, it reminds me of the WKRP turkey drop from 1985 when they learned that turkeys can't fly when they drop them from the helicopter. Oof, that was rough.
They can't do it.
That one's for you, Perna. Anyways, sorry.
This is my favorite part of the episode so far.
Yeah, bizarre references that only 2 people get.
You know what? I think that's the tradition. Anytime Perna says something kind of weird, we have to deviate somewhere bad shit.
Challenge me to see if our things line up.
Let's do this. I actually love this. Not right, like whenever you're ready, Perna.
Oh, Vintage Lord coming in. All right, hang on. So Les Nessman, yeah. So this one's for you, Vintage Lord.
Oh man.
He had an invisible wall around his office that he made people walk on. He was awesome.
That was good miming. Did you mime in college, or?
I did. That was going to be my career, but
you had to deal with real walls, real.
I was allergic to the grease paint, so
right, and invisibility, which is a key factor of miming, so that makes sense. I understood that reference.
Totally onto WKRP in the comments now. That is a good point. Yeah, Fu is already down to 150.
Yeah,
that was also. I think the challenge with this one is Avengers just like Midnight Suns blows Avengers out of the water, so they raise the bar. So I think people are probably hoping Avengers is going to be close to that than it is to. I'm sorry that. I'm comparing apples and oranges. Metal.
You're good.
Never mind.
No, I get what you're saying. Actually, it's funny. I had a buddy of mine. Actually, funny enough, my first friend I ever made was in elementary school. My buddy Ricky.
It'd be weird if you said it was in college.
It was in college. That's okay. Some people make friends late. That's right. People are pricks for the most part, so that's fine. But it was elementary school, and we're still friends today. And he's a lovely guy. He's awesome. I love this guy. Very much like family. And he hit me up and we were chatting because we reconnected. And we're talking about Marvel cards. He's like, I saw Avengers Metal, man. It looks good. And I'm like, wait, we're going to hunt that together. So him and I will hunt. Maybe he'll come on the channel for fun, but super awesome guy. This was the guy I geeked out with on Marvel stuff when we were first loving Marvel. Like this was that guy trading cards right before class in kindergarten and stuff like that. Very cool. So we should have some fun content coming up there. But cool. Swami, there was something I was going to tell you, Swami. There was something interesting that I thought you would love, and I can't remember now what it was. And I'm going to have to hit you up later. It was something funny that you would have thought was interesting. I'm loving those videos you're doing, by the way. If you guys don't know, Swami's been doing some awesome content on his YouTube. Please check it out. It's fantastic. Love this guy. Really good stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
I read that with my inside voice. Did I read that out loud on camera? Nope. I read that inside my head. Yeah, I love Midnight Suns, but the same way I've skipped. Perfect. Walls. Perfect. Thank you, Perna. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, I think. I know you still use 1 year. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the episode, unless there's something you got, Matt, something you want to round it off with.
I suppose I could do that.
You don't have to do a giveaway. What I meant is like a picture of the office. Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure.
Let's do it this way. Let me do.
All right. I follow your lead.
I'm not sure why logo when I'm not there.
You know what? I don't know either, because we're not using his stuff anymore.
He's taken over.
He's taking over. He's an official partnership with StreamYard. Yeah, I have no idea how that happened. But yeah. Matt. There's Matt. So Matt is getting the camera ready to record the office. And we are going to... Whoa, that's too close. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to wait for Matt. I see Matt. I don't think I can hear Matt. I can't hear you, Matt. But that's fine.
How about now?
Oh, you nailed it.
Okay.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the tour.
So this whole place, it's still finishing out here, but we got...
You have a couch?
Yeah, oh yeah. That's the PlayStation setup.
Oh, Jesus. You are my hero. Okay.
Yeah. We start... This is going to be the wall of comic art paintings.
Oh.
Get up there. Get a whole wall there for stuff. All the binders over here. Got to hang a couple things up there. Get a peach over there. Get a peach eye in there.
You think that window will allow for a 6'4" man to enter your basement undetected?
Right. We got this. This is the whole brand new wall, so I got tons of space to sort of get everything. A couple little cupboards over here. So the goal is this room will just be comic art. It's a little mess affair I got to hang down there.
Oof.
But the whole goal of this, recognize that?
Oh, you dog.
Little clear retro card there.
Wow.
The goal was this thing here, which is the secret entrance. So inner geek, right? So I redid the whole floor.
Wow.
Here, and then the wall of art.
You dangerous, dangerous man.
Have to go down for a second because there's one up there I can't show.
No worries.
Here, and this is sort of the wall of, we get the Columbos.
Wow.
Pieces. A couple random ones down there.
I remember those.
Marvel Snap down there.
One
of Rhiannon's pieces.
I got a Marvel Snap piece. That's awesome.
So yeah, I just need to do something over here. I'm thinking of one of those display cabinets rather than just a couple paintings. So that's the quick tour. Maybe do something a little more later, but I'm going to switch back to the other camera.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was freaking awesome. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Matt's back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hardest part was figuring out how to make the camera work.
I think you did a great job. I am. Look, everyone's freaking out.
Yeah, I'm very happy. It took a long time, but and again, I think, and this is in no, you know, I'm not going to say it. Never mind.
No.
Glad to have a little more free time. You know, I loved modding and adminning MCCW for 4 years, but not having to do it has just opened up a ton of free time and has really reignited the passion. Like there's a Seinfeld episode where Elaine's dating this guy who's a gynecologist. Like, come home from work and just be like, if I see another Sometimes it's like that with cards, right? Like sometimes there were days where it just took the fun out of it. And
Well, you were babysitting. I mean, that's what the group ended up being a lot.
but the good news is it was only like a fraction of the time, like 1/10 of
No, that's true. I get that.
when that 1/10 hit, it was just awful. So yeah,
It's a great place. I mean,
since I've gone, this is what I've been able to do in that free time. So it's been great.
I mean, that's kind of what happened to me too, and I get it. It's a very hard group to run. Hats off to Ian. I helped him admin it and built up that group with him, and a lot of the stuff we were doing and building that space up, getting artists there and having artists sell things and do things and exclusivity to, like, in the sense of like helping the Marvel card community and sharing their artwork. A lot of people were in there and got a lot of love there, and we're getting recognition. There's a marvelous group for a lot of reasons. It still is a marvelous group, but I think just Facebook is just such a pit of despair sometimes for me. I don't know why. I just don't do well on Facebook.
And the guys are still there, doing a fantastic job.
They are.
Paul,
Yeah.
Tony, Greg, Matt, all of them they put in the work and they keep it a good group. So that's what's important.
That's what's important.
It's important to have multiple places to go and share your love of the hobby. We've got some Discord places. There's the new Hobby Hangout group, which is awesome.
That's right.
Just lots of the good thing is there's lots of places, so that if one doesn't resonate, there's still plenty of others to share your passion. So
I think it's just good to have access to all the groups and to be a friend to everyone, and just to remember that, when things get heated, things are dumb, blah, blah, blah. It's either based on a miscommunication or just certain people are not meant to hang around other people. And that's the end of it. You know what I mean?
That's why the whole sort of theory premise behind why I want to do the episode on Saturday, because there was a good conversation being had around how all those blank cards are used. But again, the problem is anytime you have a passionate topic like that, people, myself included, if you have, I'll just say it like this, if you have a preconceived notion of a person, you're going to read things in a certain way, right? And it's really hard not to do that. I do it all the time. As much as I try, I even say, I need to read this neutrally, and sometimes it is really hard. So I think that's why I wanted to have potentially some other people join me, because I think when you're looking at the person, even if it's on camera, seeing how I talk about it versus you reading my words and thinking, so I'm talking about it like this, but you're reading my words and you think I'm going like this. No, right? So getting that intonation is just so important in conversations like that.
Also, too, there's a lot of things about respect that are seen through body mannerisms and facial expressions that you can't take time to do that when you're trying to get a point across, right? And communication is the hardest thing in the world to achieve. Most of the world's problems are because of miscommunication and communicational boundary. You know what I mean? Things that are unable to be said and said clearly. And I've had so many people that I've seen online where I'm like, yes, I might not want to do business with them, but I've met them in person and they're lovely. You know what I mean? Or like, I'm not a fan of this person. They do their thing over here. I stay here, but there's always a mutual respect not to, like, you know what I mean? Say something about the other person because that would be rude. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's okay to have different relationships with different people, because I think the worst part about it is when you have people who are trying to achieve a more manipulative objective. And I don't think that's the case most of the time ever. I think that's so stupid rare, and we think it's the most common occurrence, but honestly, I don't think people are that smart. You know what I mean?
Facebook is designed so that it makes sort of the cardinal rule of communication, at least how I was taught it when I actually got my useless communications degree back in '93. You want to respond, not react.
Yeah.
And Facebook, because it's so fast and you see a comment and you read it and you think of a response, but then you see other people are already commenting and you want to get your word in. So you're reacting. You're not taking the time to actually respond. And that's when you get in the cycle of, hyper responding and reacting. It's just typing and it just gets crazy. So
it happens to me all the time. And I hate I hate that I'm a person that responds that way, and a lot of it has to do with
It's
the stuff that happens to me.
all
We
I
gotta
need
put
is the 80s
yeah.
slides.
I'm gonna make the graphics for this. This is great. I'm gonna do an edit on this. That'd be perfect.
Lord.
It's true. I mean, all of us have done it. I've done it. Matt's done it. We've all done it. And at the end of the day, it's just a stupid thing. Too
Good question here. Too centralized. Yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? In some ways, you're right. It's almost, if you want to actually collect and build sets or character collect, yes, in some ways you do have to be a part of these things because there's a social aspect in order to get what you want, right? You got to buy, sell, or trade. But I think the better way to look at that is, instead of it being a requirement, that it could be an opportunity, right? Because that's where you make new friends and go to NOAX and hang out with 30 people and have a good time, or meet people at your Comic-Con or your small local show, you know. So
I think,
yes, it's centralized, but I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing.
you're right. Like Matt's saying, for me, I was off Facebook and Instagram. Like, I was a ghost. I never did any of this weird stuff. I stopped after MySpace and I never touched it again for years. And I never did it. And it wasn't until Ian just started the MCCW group, offshoot of something else that didn't want to ship internationally. So he made a group that would ship internationally. And that's where I met him and everybody else. And, I had been on Scoundrel, I had been on Blowout, I have read things, I had to, because I wanted to take this collection more seriously, until it got to the point where everybody was leaving Scoundrel, leaving Blowout, and heading to Facebook. And then I had to go to Facebook. And luckily, I met a lot of really lovely people there, and I got to become a part of this community, which is my only community that I'm part of. The other ones won't have me, but this one is the most important to me, and here and stuff like that. But not being part of the Facebook groups and kind of getting away from Facebook in general, because I'm just not very good on Facebook or social media, really, is kind of a thing where I'm missing stuff, and friends of mine are talking about things. I have to be, oh, what happened? Share to pick. So it is kind of, a double-edged sword. For me, it's the right answer, because I can't be in the mix, because I have no interest in getting riled up randomly on a day. And that's more of a me thing than a place thing, because I don't think the group is a bad place at all. I don't think most of the people I meet on a daily basis are bad at all. It's just something I can't do. And that's okay too, but part of me had to reconcile part of my collection and be like, you know what? It's okay not to go so hard on this by having to be on Facebook every 5 minutes. I can be on eBay every 5 minutes and still be okay.
The other thing with doing this and putting yourself out there, you have to not take yourself and this hobby too seriously, right? Like, at the end of the day, what am I? Am I the biggest rooster in the yard of a group that
of this small world?
What does that even mean? Like,
so
what kind of a brag is that?
It's so dumb. And people too have real things in their lives. That's the best part about meeting everybody and actually becoming friends with people, because you're like, wow, yes, this world is small and that's how we met, but this person's actually really cool and they have this job, or they have these difficulties in life that they have to step up for, and they do these amazing things every day. I've loved getting to know.
Did you just make everybody lose the game?
What happened?
Do you not know that? You were just sitting here like this. You just lost the game?
A win. Done. How many people are watching? 45.
There you go. Haha. I have to say too, I love the comments, and I keep looking at this and smirking. This is probably the best comment. No, I missed it. It moved. This is the best comment somebody's ever made about. This is sheer brilliant.
Brilliant.
It's up on my wall. It's so dead on. I just can't laugh.
It's so good. Hey, Jacob's here. Oh God, I have to call Jacob. Jacob, I will call you. Don't hate me. Yeah, don't take it so seriously. Yeah.
Well, it was Scandal. Sometimes your comments. There's a comedian. I can't remember which one it is, but he talks about middle school girls and how they are the meanest people on the planet. They'll find the one thing that you don't like about yourself and just drill into it, right? So that's you're that equivalent, Scandal. Every time you post something, people are all like, "Oh my god, wait, what?" I even saw that a couple days ago, where people got a real. That was quite an interesting sub comment trail of the thread there.
The sub comments are my favorite. I'm like, oof, someone pissed someone else off. 142 comments or 48 comments suddenly. I'm like, oof, that went by fast.
Well, I don't think it's controversial per se, but that's going to be Saturday night. And I think I'm going to start at 7 p.m. Saturday night.
7 p.m. Saturday.
You're not going to get so much of me in the next 3 days. You're going to absolutely hate me if you don't already.
There's going to be a lot of Fuller on the internet.
Tomorrow, which will probably be another 6 or 7 hours, because that's just how we do it.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday night at 7, we're going to do that conversation. And people are welcome to join. Jalen Warner's already said he's going to join me. 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, I don't think there's no real tea. I mean, you guys already know my thesis. My thesis is no one's opinion is better than others.
The real tea.
You don't even have to turn into the show now, because I just told you the ending. There you go. I saved you all a couple hours.
No, that's not what they're tuning in for, Matt.
We'll drill into it. And again, I don't think, while I disagree with some of the, I don't even disagree with the opinions of some of the people. I just don't like how maybe they were presented, because I saw a couple people really feeling bad about things after them. So I just, we'll talk about it a little bit. But no, I'm not going to say anyone's opinion is wrong, because it's just that. It's opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion is no more valid than anyone else's. But I'm going to kind of approach it in a slightly different way.
I think it's nice. I think it's a good commit. I don't know, man.
Dave, stop it.
That's happening. Which episode was that you agreed to, Matt? I think you said.
I'll do that in episode 500. And I'm currently on episode 6.
Matt, if you mean that, you don't think I'll go live?
By the time I get to 500, I will be freaking wrinkled as a prune. And if you guys want to see me in a Danny Moonstar outfit at episode 500, God bless you all. You'll get it.
Oh, sorry. My ears just hurt because collectively everyone said yes really fast. So I just wanted you to hear that.
No.
Oh, gosh. Just not a Matt.
Yeah. No,
Jacob.
This is the brand new room. Yep. You missed it. We did it. You'll have to go do the replay, because we did sketch will be the Demon Bear. I did a quick little tour of it, so you can do that.
I got the hair for it, so I'm in.
We didn't really talk sketches, Ash. I mean, insofar as they're part of what we were talking about, but nothing specifically.
No. That's all going to be for Saturday and stuff.
Thank you, Bern. I'm glad somebody sees the light. Good Lord.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. I think it's a good episode. Hour and 18 minutes. I promised Matt I wouldn't hold him over an hour, and I lied. So that's done. Matt, thank you so much for doing this with me again.
Problem. Like we said, tomorrow night around this time, another sale event. This and many more like them.
And now he's going through the collection. So, like, these are even crazier than the last things we've been seeing.
I mean, I'll never get through them all, but I've got if I had an endless supply of time and people to watch it, I have about 1,200 sketch cards that I'm going to try to be offering up over the next month or two. So, I scared them. There you go.
He's scared me.
Jester, you read my cliff notes for the episode.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's always be in the camp of shouldn't. Even if it affects your collection, even if something, because I know people talked about signed cards and all that kind of stuff. Even if that happens, you really can't just tell people how to collect. There's no rules to this stuff. People are going to do what they like to do. If you miss out on something, you can't have it all. And that's okay to say that. There's going to be things I'm never going to be able to grab. And I think that has to be, that's a hard thing for people like us to be okay with. I understand that.
But in regards to collecting, I mean, that's a great comment by Jester, right?
Yeah.
If you say, hey guys, based on my experience, you should think about this, and if you want to do this, versus, hey guys, you're dumb if you do this, or you're not a real collector if you do this, because that's the difference between being helpful and being a dick.
And that kind of stuff usually comes up when people are heated, right? Comments kind of stuff. Talk to someone in person, very rarely, less than 1% of people are going to be that stern with their comments, because they're upset. It just happens. You know what I mean? People say weird stuff like that. And I guarantee you it's not really what they're saying. You know what I mean? Most of the time. Sometimes it is. And if that's the case, then that's what's great about Saturday. That would be a fun topic there. Perna, it's a fine line. It's a fine wine. Well, you're fine, Perna.
Perna is Matt, the poet of the North right there.
Perfection. All right, well, we're going to leave you guys and let you do stuff and enjoy us before you have another tall glass of Matt, me, and Alonzo, which is the name of our next episode. Because Alonzo will be on. He's invited.
Find out if he can pry away from time.
That'd be lovely. So we'll do that Friday. Friday, are things at 7 as well, right?
I believe so, yeah, starting at 7.
And then Saturday's the big firework discussion. I mean, fun sketch card discussion. I'm sorry. So I couldn't help myself. Jacob made me laugh. 7 p.m. on Saturday as well, which would be a good, actually really fruitful, mature conversation about something that's important to the hobby. Anyway, you guys are lovely. This is my second episode. Thank you all for doing this with me. I really appreciate it. We'll have some more interviews, character collectors. We'll get into some stuff. I'm thinking about doing a round table discussion with different character collectors, get some familiar faces on here, and have some prompted questions by you all. Go to my Instagram, follow my channel. And in my channel, if you have any suggestions or things you'd like to see on the episode, I'll put a poll up tomorrow. And you guys can post some things there that you're interested to do. That's good. And we will get some of that then. Tomorrow is 7 p.m. Friday's 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And if you want to jump on, man, let me know. If you want to hang out or sell anything, you can hang out if you want. It's been a while. Perna, let us know. Things are going down. And then Saturday, 7 p.m. will be another great discussion on sketches.
Perna, whichever one you want on, just send me a message. We'll make it happen.
Oh, yeah. All right, cats. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Bye guys.